won't you come and sit with me a while? I'll be sharing out of my book, And the Glory. And yes, it's dark and it's a little dim, but that's okay. That's how I want it. This book is composed of my personal poetry and also devotionals. And if it sounds a little dry, possibly it is. But to me it's not. I'm going to start with what touches my heart the deepest, and that's my child. I was talking to a woman today about our childhoods and the pain that could be found there. As we spoke, I was reminded of when my emotional healing was complete. I had experiences as a little girl that had left me scarred and broken. I didn't know how badly I had been affected. That is until I dared to allow myself to go back in my mind's eye to the little girl that I had once been. It all started, the going back I mean, when I was watching a talk show and the hostess was telling the audience that we could actually go back in our minds and rescue the child of our youth. The thought was frightening, but I was willing as I had abandoned her. I didn't want anything to do with the little girl who had been Audrey. I found me sitting there on a cold and lonely set of stairs. In my imagination, I approached me. As I came near to the little girl that I had once been, my heart went out to me. I knew her pain. The adult in me bent down and lovingly put my arm around me. I held that child and we both cried. As we cried, a healing washed over us. The adult in me stood up and offered my hand to my inner child. Little Audrey looked up at me with hope and trust in her eyes. Come with me, I told my memories. We are strong now. We can do this together. And little Audrey grabbed a hold of the acceptance that was offered, and together we have walked side by side ever since. I am no longer haunted by the feelings that had diminished who I was born to be, a child of the King, King Jesus. And on those days when my child and myself are feeling down and dejected, I reach my hand out to the one who has rescued me, Jesus the Christ, the Son of the living God. Because just as I had gone to the inner child and gave her a place of hope and belonging, Jesus has come and given me a place of hope and belonging. For without him, I could never have rescued her. Memory verse. Instead of their shame, my people will receive a double portion. And instead of disgrace, they will rejoice in their inheritance. And so they will inherit a double portion in their land. And everlasting joy shall be theirs. Isaiah 61:7, NIV. Prayer prompt. Whenever I am down and lonely, please help me to remember that you love me and will always be there for me. I am grateful for your presence, Lord. Please help me win. And I'll share a poem. God's promise is a rose. He is the rose of Sharon. He is the lily of the fields, the fairest of 10,000, and he's asking you to yield. He is alive and able to place you at his side. Our heavenly bridegroom is seeking for his heavenly bride. Listen to me, my children. Your Father has a message to send. Hearken to my story. Words into song I will blend. Jesus is arisen. Jesus is our King. Let heaven proclaim his glory. Let all of nature sing. He faced death and overcame. For all our sins he took the blame, bore the sorrow and felt the pain. Beauty is his holy name. Bud and bloom and victory win, deaf to death and blind to sin. Let him grow you into him. He's promised life to all who come, life eternal for everyone. That life is everlasting rest. He is a rose, thou wedding guest. Thank you.